ever wonder if there's really power in prayer? If yes, I'm going to tell you a story and let you be the judge. Hi, my name is Amy Brooks. I blog at prayerwinechocolate.com and I run catholicsonline.net, which is a directory of Catholic authors, speakers, ministries, and artisans. And I am also the author of Be Yourself, a Catholic journal for girls, and Be Yourself, a Catholic journal for boys. I once said a prayer carrying a laundry basket up my steps that later I realized was answered in an extreme way. So when we think about prayer, I do want to quote Saint Therese, the Little Flower. I believe she said that prayer is simply lifting your heart to God. So we have a lot of formal prayers in our Catholic faith that are beautiful. The Mass is the greatest prayer. The Rosary is an amazingly powerful prayer. But we also have personal prayer. And that can be done kneeling by your bed at night, but it can also be done carrying a laundry basket up the steps. So, a little background. My husband and I got married when we were 30, and we couldn't wait to bring children into our family. And we realized that we could not physically bring children into the world. I experienced infertility for years and years, so we finally adopted our son. And after we adopted our son, we were so happy and we wanted to give him at least one sibling, if not more. But I had stopped working and adoption is very expensive. So the route that we took for our son was to pay an adoption agency. And what we realized was if we were going to adopt again, we were going to have to connect with someone without the help of an adoption agency. So this is why I started blogging, because I figured I would document all the ways I made connections, and then once we adopted without an agency, I could help other couples, or we could help other couples do the same, because adoption can be intimidating when you see the cost of it all. So that's why I started Prayer Wine Chocolate. So I started that blog and we got our home study done, and I started making lots of connections in the pro-life world and using social media to let people know that we wanted to adopt, but we weren't hearing anything. And in the meantime, I started thinking about how my infertility was unfortunate and a cross to bear. But then I also was thinking about women who were experiencing unwanted pregnancies and considering abortion, and how they had a very different cross to bear, but they still weren't where they wanted to be. So I used to lay in bed at night and just pray for these women that I didn't know, and just say, God, please help them choose life. Thinking it would be great if they chose life and adoption or parenting, just praying for them with a sincere heart. Then, one day after doing this, I was carrying my laundry basket up my steps into my son's room, and I had this thought, and this thought was, God, I don't even know these women. I know I don't love them as much as you do. How can my prayers even make a difference? If I don't love them the way you love them so much more than me. So it was a question that I posed to our Lord. Shortly after that, I found the spiritual adoption prayer online. And if you're unfamiliar with the spiritual adoption prayer, it's a very short prayer written by Archbishop Fulton Sheen, and it goes, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I love you very much. I beg of you to spare the life of, and then you decide a baby if you want to adopt a girl or a boy, and you name the baby. So we named the baby Jaina Therese. So I printed it out. We wrote Jaina Therese on the blank, and it goes like this. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I love you very much. I beg of you to spare the life of Jaina Therese, the unborn baby who is in danger of abortion. Amen. And that's it. So then you write the date down of when you started praying for this child, and then you add 9 months, and that's the child's due date. And you just spiritually adopt this baby that you named, and you we tried praying every day. So my husband, my son, and I, after we would say grace before meals, we have a Most Sacred Heart of Jesus prayer, and then we would pray this prayer. I think I timed it. It takes about 20 seconds to say. So we prayed that prayer every night before dinner, mostly every night. And months went by and we still weren't making any connections. And I was starting to, think, how can I make a connection that will allow us to grow our family? And I thought, I've never prayed in front of a Planned Parenthood before. And I know people do this. So I'm not going to go by myself. I'm going to look up the Planned Parenthood around where I live, and I'm going to look up when pro-life groups pray, and I will just meet them there, or I will connect with them, because I didn't want to go by myself. So I looked it up, and I saw that they pray, around 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was summertime, and my son was only 3, so my husband worked, so I thought, okay, me and my son will just go, and we'll pray with them. And I'll have my sign, and I made a sign that said, unplanned pregnancy, we want to adopt. And I figured if somebody sees this sign and they choose life and they choose parenting, it's still a win, right? So my son oversleeps, we rush to get there. I made sure I had my rosaries in my hand when I got out of the car, because my friend who's a chastity speaker said, make sure you're holding your rosaries, because an escort might think you're there for an appointment and start walking you into the building. And when I got out of the car, I really felt a tension, like I was actually entering a spiritual battlefield. And like I said, my son was 3, so we got out of the car. There were people there. There was a priest. I said hello to him. And there were a couple women. And I started introducing myself and introducing my son. And as I was doing that, this woman said, hold on a minute. And she picks up a bullhorn and starts calling through the bullhorn, you don't have to go in there, she will adopt your baby, we can help you. And I was mortified. I could not believe this was happening. So I grabbed my son's hand and I start walking away from the lady with the bullhorn, who I judged immediately as being crazy. So we walked away, she got done calling through the bullhorn, and then I walked back and I was like, okay, I thought this, I'm gonna say it. And I said, a bullhorn? Is that really the best way to do it? And then this other woman said, who had not said a word yet, was holding her rosaries, and she said, you know what? Once a priest said to me, these women are praying for a sign to not have their abortion. And sometimes we are the sign that they're praying for. And then, of course, we are in the suburbs, so it's not a city, so the laws, we have to be on the sidewalk, and there's a big parking lot, so it did make sense that she was using this, because she would just have to scream for the people to hear. So anyway, I showed them my sign, I continued to speak with them, and then all of a sudden, we see the people that were going in, that went into the Planned Parenthood, come out. The people that it was a woman who was pregnant and her mother. And these were the people that were going in when Mary, who was the bullhorn lady, was saying, don't go in there. They decided to leave. And they started walking towards us. And they kept walking towards us. And we kept thinking, are they coming towards us? Are they really not going to do it? Are they going to come talk to us? And they did. And we all hugged. And it was just this amazing, amazing moment. It was amazing. So her mother said, she has no place to live. She needs help. So Mary, the bullhorn lady, said, hold on, picked up her cell phone and walked aside and started calling places so that we could find this younger girl, she's probably in her early 20s, a place to live. So I'm standing there with this woman and her mother. So I just start talking to her. And I said, so, where are you from? And she told me where she was from. And I knew it was not close to this Planned Parenthood. So I said, that's really far. Why did you come so far? And she said, well, the place near me only does it until 13 weeks, and I'm 13 weeks, 6 days, or 13 weeks, 9 days. I know she said 13 weeks, and then she said more days than 7, So it made me remember it. I think, why didn't she just say, not 13 days, 14 weeks, right? So she was more than 14 weeks pregnant, like about 14 weeks in a day, I figured out. So anyway, I keep talking, and then in the meantime, my 3-year-old is pulling on me, and he's like, Mom, I want to go here, I want to go there. I said, why do you want to go to this place? He was asking. I said, you want to go there because they have lollipops? And he said, yes. And the girl that had the abortion appointment opened her pocketbook and pulled out 2 lollipops and gave one to my son and ate one with him. And it was just this amazing, beautiful moment of just, we're just all people. It was just so beautiful. So then Mary comes back. She said, I'm going to take you out to lunch. We're going to get you everything you need. And I was amazed. I did not know. I mean, I know there was help for these girls, but I couldn't believe she found her everything she needed. But again, I was kind of new to this, this boots on the ground part of the pro-life movement. I was really impressed. So, I ended up becoming friends with the lady at first that I judged was crazy for using a bullhorn. But anyway, so I go home and I had started this blog and I thought, this is such a beautiful story. So I wrote a blog post about it and I said, I called it something, a prayer and a lollipop or something. I don't even know. So I just talked about my sign and praying in front of the Planned Parenthood and the whole cute moment that my son had with this young woman. And I just thought that was awesome. So I wrote that. And then 2 days after this happened, probably before I wrote the blog post, I was sweeping my kitchen floor and I looked up at the paper on the fridge, the spiritual adoption prayer, where I had written Jana Therese and the date. And I thought, she said she was about 14 weeks along. And then I was like, well, how long ago did we start praying the spiritual adoption prayer? So I look up and I see the date was like May something, and this was in August, and I did the math, and it was exactly 14 weeks and 1 day since we started praying. And I think my mouth hit the floor. It was the exact amount of time that she said she was along in her pregnancy. And I thought, whoa, I wonder if it's a girl. I wonder if she's going to name her Jana. I wonder if she'll place her with us. Like at that point, I'm like, oh, maybe she'll choose adoption and we'll get to adopt the baby. She didn't. That's not what she ended up parenting. But anyway, so I just was amazed by that. So anyway, a couple more months go by. And I guess it was January, I thought of her, and I did get Mary's number, the lady with bullhorn. And I thought, oh, she's due soon. I wonder if she's still in contact with her. I wonder how she's doing. So I texted Mary and I said, have you heard from so-and-so? Did she have the baby yet? And she said, oh, no, but I do still talk to her. She's doing great. She's doing great. And it's a girl. Did you know it's a girl? And again, I was like, well, I didn't, but we're praying for a girl. So I told Mary the story. I said, we're praying the spiritual adoption prayer. And it's the exact amount of time, that I met her the exact amount of time that we had been praying for this baby. And we did choose to spiritually adopt a girl, and we named her Jana Therese. She's like, oh, wow, how about that? Well, then about a week later, I get a text from Mary that says, what did you name that baby? And I said, we named her Jana Therese. And she said, you're not going to believe this. And then we ended up just calling each other. She said, I just got a text from the young woman. I try not to say her name. She said, I thank you for you all the time. You were at the right place at the right time. I cannot wait to bring my daughter, Jana, into the world. Now, she spelled it Jana, and we had spelled it Jaina, but still, this is not a popular name. So both Mary and I are like, what? And sure enough, in February, Jana was born, and her mom is parenting her. She's about 6 years old now. But that prayer is 20 seconds long, and you cannot convince me that that was not God, that was not an answered prayer. And I just share that with you because I feel like God allowed that to happen because he knew I would write about it. So then I had to write another blog post. I had to do that. I was like, I thought it was a miracle just with, I called it a miracle in the lollipop, the first blog post. But now I had a whole other amazing part of the story to share. So I rewrote the blog post and shared how the spiritual adoption prayer is just phenomenal. So I encourage you to continue praying. And if you want the spiritual adoption prayer, I have a free printout, and I'll put the link below. God bless you. Please hit like, please comment, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Have a great day. Bye.